In a world where things almost make sense, and most everything is interesting and mildly unique, it's a place that feels somewhat familiar and has the suspicious comfort of a loving semi-omnipresence. You are on the outskirts of Loutopia. Sit back and relax, or tense up and march around. Please welcome your host of Loutopia, Lou Angel Wolf.
Oh yeah, baby, we're back. Welcome to Loutopia. I'm Lou Angel Wolf. I'm your host. I got a house full of talent tonight. We're gonna dig it. Here comes that beat I wait for. One of my favorite beats. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Loutopia, Loutopia.com. You can hear Loutopia on the IRN Broadcast Network. That's IRNBroadcast.com. Our buddy Mike Peter over there propelling the information into the ionospheres. You can also catch us on YouTube. We're YouTube Live right now. Right now. This is all me. This is all us. We're all here. And that's YouTube Live right now. And, of course, the mothership is Loutopia.com. That's Loutopia.com. That's the home of the pacifist riot. And it's just a pleasure. The whole thing is just a joy. And I'm very, very happy that you're listening, watching, and we're digging you, too. So we have great shows almost all the time, and
except when we're not here.
Those shows aren't very good when we're not here. My host right here to the right, it's the lovely and talented Michael Merberg.
Yeah, lovely. You're funny. Why, thank you.
You're like Carol Channing. You're Carol Channing in a guy suit.
Oh, God, you don't want me to do her imitation.
You do a Carol Channing impression?
Only when I'm in drag.
That is a scary thing. Merberg is
a method actor.
They used to say the same thing about my family and automatic weapons.
Mike Merberg's over there on mic 2. Chris Gorgeous on mic 3.
What up?
How you feeling, buddy? Is your household was a little at ill ease for a while there? Everybody okay?
Yeah, we had a death in the family, but we're all medical people, so we're like, yep. It happens. That sucks. That's a sucky thing.
That is one really cool thing about medical people. They can process, physical ailments, people passing,
suffering.
You process it faster than other people.
We can also see the bullshit when people are like pushing it with it. We're like, come on already.
All right. Saw it 4 times last week.
Yeah, we're that pissy nurse. We're like, you're not really that hurt. My mother did that when I broke my collarbone, and she was like, come on, you're not hurt. And then we went to the ER, and they said his collarbone's broken. Dude, the look on her face, I was like, I'm holding on to that for years.
Well, we have a special guest this week. It's an old buddy of all of ours. He's a stand-up comic and a good buddy, and been keeping in touch with you loosely. But it's good to have you on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Rick Stepinsky.
Hey, thanks. Glad to be here. Yeah, it's been almost 27 years since we first met.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
at Ron Bennington's, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was an open mic night, and I don't think you were very pleasant to me, but it was still 27 years ago.
Well, yeah.
Really?
Well, well, I had
pissy nurse syndrome.
And I think what I remember is you were doing some very familiar material.
Really?
Yeah, when you first started. It was very familiar.
I see what you're saying.
I'll just leave it at that.
I see what you're saying.
That's why I was busting your balls.
I see what you're saying.
Because I didn't want to see you go down that path. You know? So, but, well, it's good to see you, man. You look fantastic, dude. You've lost 50 pounds.
50 pounds, in the last 2 years, yeah.
Wow, that's the way to lose it, huh?
I'm telling you. Yeah, I get up every day, 5 o'clock, go to the gym or I run, one of the two.
Yeah.
Just run.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you seem pretty calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps. Oh, my blood pressure was through the roof, man. Through the roof. I went to the doctor and she took my blood pressure and she's like, it's like 170. How are you not dead? I'm like, I don't know.
Wow.
So we got that under the control, lost the weight. Things are good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's you look very fit, and
Thank you.
And I know you had a little Let's see, a little relationship troubles.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's got an ex-wife or two. I do.
Yeah.
Merbs, you got me? How many ex-wives?
She's dead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We don't count her anymore. Just one.
Boy, talk about
crap,
feeling
Mike.
fucking stupid.
I know Mike's like,
That's okay. I'm a medical professional.
He's already over
she
it.
croaked.
She's worm dirt. Next.
Can't put her in the X part. She never got a chance to be an X. She croaked.
Well, anyway, and you and I definitely have something in common. Late teenage children.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got a almost 18-year-old girl. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's something. You know, they you can read, you can prepare, you can flash back to when you were that age, and nothing prepares you for it.
Yeah.
So, Lou, what's the topic? Is that the topic tonight?
Well, actually, the topic is, I'm just setting the stage. Here's Rick, great guy, good businessman. You've had the same day job forever, right?
Yeah, same 27 years. Yeah.
Wow. What, did you meet me on the day you got
Yeah,
hired or
I know,
something?
yeah, it was a big
I met
day.
Lou Angewolf and I got a new job.
I had a good day. I got hired, and then I met you, and you were awful to me. So yeah. Yeah.
But you snapped that. I was your Sergeant Carter. Pile! Quit hacking those lines.
Oh, terrible comparison. Go clean the latrine.
But what I'm saying is you're a comic and you have the love of it in your heart, because we were touring at the same time.
Sure.
We'd crisscross paths and meet each other. Sometimes get to work together.
That's right. Once in a while. Yeah. It was
Yeah. And here you are, you've gone through all this, turmoil and stuff like that, but yet it's that one burning thing in your life.
True.
That you just keep doing it.
Right.
It's like nobody's going to ever stop you. And I got the same thing.
Right.
It's like there's, regardless of what's happening in my life, I mean, I've been married and divorced twice and, had some pretty hectic issues. Really, the whole thing from the bottom of my heart, every time you have that big trauma, 10 new minutes. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah,
you get
absolutely.
10 fresh.
Dude, it's like a
absolutely.
petri dish for jokes.
Yeah. Right.
Just do the little swab in there and do that,
Oh.
and then in like a week you got a whole new thing.
Well, because pain
love
and
it.
humor are so closely related,
Right.
it works out really good, so
It's funny because we've been doing comedy for a long time and we know that, but there are new comics that have no idea, right? So I'm on Facebook and there's a new comic that I met. I met her down in Coral Springs. I was doing a show and she came up and asked for advice and yada yada. And I'm always open to talk because I just love the art. I love talking about the art. I love exploring the art, right?
sure.
So she's complaining on Facebook that she can't write any material at her room in her apartment because. And then she goes on this rant about the millennials outside talking about nothing for hours. Do they have a job? I'm thinking, you just wrote 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It wrote itself right outside your window. How are you not getting that?
Right.
I can't write a damn thing.
She doesn't see anecdotal comedy.
I guess not. I'm like, it's happening right in front of you.
I have to write a bit about my cat. And that's just not coming right now.
I know. Really wanted to talk about,
I swear to
Benoit
God,
balls.
comedy and nicknames come the same way. They just fucking happen
Just
to
happens,
you.
yeah.
They just happen to you. Speaking of a great nickname, this biker dude I knew, I think his real name was Steve, and he wasn't a very experienced rider, but really came off like he had the full outfit, man. He was, he'd been to Barney's Leather and he'd done all the shit, right? But he had very, very few saddle hours. And so we're all going to leave one night, and he just put like new cool skull handle levers,
Nice.
brake and clutch levers.
and baseball cards clipped his back wheel.
No. Which is a little overkill on a Harley, but hey, he wanted to be different. I'm practicing my jokes. I got a card in my spokes. And so anyway, he goes to take off on the bike, and there's a big curb, like an 8-inch curb, and he takes off, and then he rides it, and he's like half falling on and half falling off. And he then the front wheel drops down, then the side drops down, and the saddlebag hits, and the sparks fly up, and he gives it gas, and he does this wobbly, and his handlebars are just, and it finally dumps over on the side, and his nickname was Kirby after that.
Oh, nice. Nice. Was this like in front of a bar or just in front of you?
It was just a whole front of leaving in front of a whole bunch of bikers,
like Pee Wee
dude.
Herman when he rides through the billboard. Yeah, nice.
So that day, Kirby was born.
It's like the muse of nicknames whispers to somebody, and all of a sudden you're dead.
Yeah.
Now, Chris was saying about the new people who come out when they write their comedy.
Yeah.
I've seen guys open mic in front of me. I've seen them do guest sets. None of it's believable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's no life experience.
Yeah.
There's no there's no sense that any of this ever happened to them. They just sat around and
I literally said that to a guy I saw do it. He did a guest set, and afterwards he ate it hard. And he was like teary-eyed, the guy. He was kind of infamous for crying after sets.
nice.
I'm not kidding. I'd never seen it, but I was like, he's like really, really upset about it.
I love that.
Yeah, I know it's important to him, but here's the point. He got off, and I'm like, hey, man, do you actually date married women? He's like, no. And I'm like, well, why are you talking about it? Why are you telling the story about how you date? Well, I know. And I said, what do you date? He goes, I date crack whores. And I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, so why are you not talking about that?
Yeah. Right.
That's way funnier than...
Of course it is.
Yeah.
And same thing. I was watching it going, I don't believe a word he's saying right now. Not one word of it.
I don't find that they have any experience anyway.
Right?
Period.
Some experience.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Anything.
Not nothing, cataclysmic, but they've been to the
I'm chasing a
Starbucks.
laser light.
Sorry.
Does every millennial joke line start like, I was thumbing through my iPhone?
No, a millennial would never say thumbing through my
whatever.
iPhone.
Yeah, I'm sure they got a cool word for it.
Right now, an alarm went off in Millennialville, and they're like, holy shit.
Hey, you know what, though?
He's not one
I'll
of
be
us.
honest with you. They do some grading shit, but we did some grading shit when
When
absolutely.
I say
young.
millennial,
Absolutely.
I don't hate them. I don't have any...
what's there to hate?
Nothing.
But
Well,
when they
plenty
ask,
of people do.
When they ask for your advice,
Uh-huh.
and you say, write about your life.
Right.
There's part of it. I always say, there's only 5% of the story that's true. Something actually happened
Right.
with one of my kids, and then you make it
Sure.
stretch it out into a story.
It's exaggeration.
I don't believe any of the things that they're going through. Sometimes I think, and I try to say that to him without sounding like a dick, but just
Then you come off like Lou Angel Wolf.
yeah, exactly.
Just like a dick. Well,
27 years from now, I'm going to be sitting there.
Right.
Yeah,
You're kind of a dick to me, Rick.
yeah. I'll be
Tried to-
75 years old.
Tried to say hello, and you were kind of a dick.
Yeah.
I was a
I could-
young millennial.
I could...
Impressionable. With my latte, you were a dick.
It's really true, though. But, and I've talked to a couple of these guys. Not a lot of them, to be honest with you. But
Because they don't know how to talk to people face to face.
that's the problem. But no, I have met a couple, and there's some really bright guys out there. There's some really bright kids out there, and like that Cam Bertrand. I really like him.
Hate him. No, I'm kidding.
He's a really funny guy.
No, he's a cool dude, man.
And
He's very, again, the separation between people like Cam and other people is he's not, he wants to be famous, he wants that, but he also appreciates the art on a basic level. If you appreciate the art, you don't have ulterior motives for doing what you're doing,
sure.
then I connect with those people because I have the same affinity.
Yeah, well, I love it for the art form, but I also do other things, and to be in the old days, it was, I don't know, it was the 80s, 90s comedy,
It was MTV Spring Break, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
With you guys out there on the road
Yeah,
making
yeah.
it. You know what you did. Now when I go to a show, I don't get free drinks. I get no food comped. I get I'm lucky if I
Dude,
get a
I
room.
can tell you it was not my fault. I was
But you know the comics.
I was the most gracious of all
I'm
those
sure,
slugs.
but you know the comics.
Oh, sure.
I
yeah,
meant your ilk.
yes,
the millennials.
$400 bar tabs. And,
Oh.
yeah, burn up like the comedy condos used to have a phone, but somebody smoked them with a $500 phone bill, and somebody else jerked off in the mayonnaise, and there's all that old road comic shit. And I apologize on behalf of my my
mayonnaise eaters.
Yeah, what the hell? Good God. I never heard that road story, Lou.
You never heard that?
In the mayonnaise?
Oh my God! It's the first thing I heard when I went on the road.
At the mayonnaise?
Absolutely.
Yeah, whatever you do at the comedy condo, don't eat the
Don't
mayonnaise.
open the refrigerator.
I heard about the toothbrush situation, but not the...
Why would you use a toothbrush?
They'd leave a toothbrush there.
Oh.
They did leave it there and then put it in the package, and yeah.
I did comedy condos, dozen, 20 times. I don't know.
Sure.
All my stuff stayed with me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like I was in prison. I mean, that was. I was afraid there was gonna be a shakedown. Everything was staying with me at all. If I went to get food, I took my bag with me. I was not leaving anything for chance. It was. Those are some scary places, man.
Oh yeah.
Some are nicer than others. I like the one. I went to one where it was a like comedy condo / college dorm room. There were college kids in there that worked at the establishment I was doing a show at.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it was all mishmashed. And like there was no curtains on any of the windows, and they'd put like sheets up and take forks and stuck them into the wall. I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah.
dude.
Animal House.
It was funny.
The nicest comedy condo I was ever at was at the San Diego Improv. It was a beachfront condo. It was like a 3-story. It belonged to one of the owners or investors or whatever, and the comics used to stay there. And it was awesome. You could see San Diego Beach from every bedroom had a ocean view.
The one at McCurdy's isn't awful.
McCurdy's is cool.
Little cool
for
place.
for Florida. They got the best condo. Absolutely. Well, anyway, what I'm trying to say is, and over the last couple of weeks, and I don't have regular television anymore. I watch some stuff on the internet. And I do some YouTube scumping around, but not having regular TV, it changes your life. And I like, in my day job, I do in-home sales. And when the people have the television on and it's in the background while I'm working or figuring up their window and door estimate, whatever, I listen to the things that these people listen to all day long. And I'm going, no wonder they're wandering around, just walking into walls, not understanding, because they are really, I mean, the mainstream, the free stuff, the thing you don't have to pay for, that level of communication on the television. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's the intellectual equivalent of methadone.
That's exactly right. I was listening to The View this morning. The lady had it on while I was doing her windows. And I never heard such negative vitriol about, they were just hating, man. I mean, they were just hating.
Yeah, you got to kind of wonder what the view is. It's like 4 assholes.
Well, yeah, and they got the big V in the front of their logo is The View, the big V.
The flying vagina.
Well, and boy, oh boy, man, they're riling some girls up. Mm-hmm. And the new Donald Trump could meet his match with the women of America versus Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
If
he didn't meet his match the first time around after the stuff that came out of his mouth with the women of America, it ain't gonna happen, buddy. It ain't gonna happen. You've got apathetic people out there right now that are like, whatever. I'm going to Costco. Yep. I got to go to Costco right now. I have no time for this bullshit.
Yeah. Well, but the thing that and that's also to it is I say all this with a tongue in cheek because I know the whole political thing it's just a play. It's just a show. None of these people really have the power to do anything. They all just do what they're told.
Sure.
Okay. None of them make decisions on their own. You really think Donald Trump makes those decisions? They go, okay, here's the message, Donnie. Deliver it like the asshole that you are. And he goes out and he does his asshole thing and he gets everybody all riled up. And then he gets other people, all excited and this and that and the other. He communicates on all these different levels. And then, it was the same with the last guy, Obama, go present it this way, say it with this level of sneer and all that, you know.
I mean, meanwhile, while you're riling up the crowd, we're going to do something nefarious to the rest of the world, and you're not going to hear about it.
And that's all it is, man. It's just all these distractions, these political distractions for the, you know, the fact that they move in, 4,000 aircraft and tanks into the Middle East with, no notification whatsoever.
Right.
But, somebody looked up some lady's dress in 1986.
Right.
But you're going to hear all about that. And not having regular television in my life is a tremendous blessing.
It improves your critical thinking.
Oh, my God. I mean, and I find myself, and now I'm even, the alternative television universe, where you still, I guess, are trained to stare at a monitor for X amount of hours a day. Hence our show here. Thanks for looking in. And but then you get to that point where you go like, okay, now this is kind of getting saturated. There's some great guys out here, and I haven't said much about it on the air, but I don't. I mean, Merberg, you're my hero and my big brother, but I don't have a lot of those in my life, and I there's a guy on Richie from Boston. Have you ever watched him on YouTube?
No.
Tell you what, man, the guy's got his heart and his soul in this whole thing. He's trying to broadcast about the end times. He's trying to, his current thing. He started out as the chemtrail guy. Mm-hmm. And now, all those years he took horseshit over people telling him he was nuts about the chemtrail. Who would do that? Well, now that they've admitted that they're doing chemtrails, okay, the guy's completely validated. And now there's other things that he's, dispensing to the public, like the 5G network that's coming out. It's like 100 times more powerful than the 4G. And it has the capability, they make RFID chips like the size of a speck of dust. Everything's going to have one of those chips in it. Every article of clothing, everything's going to have that. And that's what you need the 5G network for, is to pick up all that super hypersensitive stuff. Well, consequently, you go picking up a speck of dust RFID chip, you need some serious freaking waves flowing through the air, man. You're not going to, back in the old days, you sat on a cell phone, it wouldn't get a signal,
right.
So, but that's when, we had 1G and 2G and 3G and 4 and now 4 LTE. But this 5, they're just going to call it 5, but it is, man, it's, like I said, it's 100 times more powerful, and it's dangerous, and it's completely controlling. Mm-hmm. It literally, I don't know how many of you know this kind of stuff or care about it, but there's a lot of like trap doors built into our society. Do you know all the cars these days, they can be shut off via satellite?
And they can be caused to accelerate and kill people inside as well.
Yes. And they have, so all that stuff is completely controllable. And it just, the more of this stuff that you find out, and here's the thing, we can fight it for a while, but eventually people get used to it. People go for the soft tit that they can, the easiest, softest tit. And so it's going to change the way we think of things. It's going to change the way we live our lives. And really, I'm saying all this to say, like what Rick's experiencing, if you find something in your life that you really love, stick with it, find it, and live it. Even if it's like you said, somebody called you for a gig, you said, hey, I want to do the gig, and you said yeah, and then you didn't even really consult your schedule or call the powers that be.
Just last week I opened for Rich Voss.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun.
He's a great comic.
He was really, really good. And I went down to Port Charlotte to do the show. Mm-hmm. And the travel, I bought my own hotel.
Yeah.
My own meal.
Sure.
The pay was just, it was great. I was grateful to get it.
Sure.
But I lost money.
Sure.
But I was happy to get out on a Thursday night and do some comedy. and work out 10 minutes of new material
Beautiful.
in front of which I knew would be a good crowd, and it
Right.
was.
Yeah.
And it felt good to just do it. It wasn't about, oh, I've got to make $200 tonight or whatever.
Right.
I just did it because I wanted to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of. And I was going to ask you when you were talking about hearing the view and all that. I'm pretty sure I've seen your show a million times, mine as well. No topical humor.
Yeah.
I never ever have done a topical humor joke ever. So you could see my show 20 years from now, or 20 years ago. I'm not talking about who's president, it's just
Right.
It's my life. It's the things that I deal with in my life.
Sure.
Maybe I just don't. It doesn't excite me to talk about.
I don't do. I take a chance when I can, though. I did a club last week, and I walked in. I said the name of the club, and I looked around. I'm like, what a shithole! I just wanted to do that just for me.
Yeah.
And I
Sure.
got a laugh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not.
Didn't expound on
against
that.
It.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not good enough at it because I don't. You're talking about hearing the view.
Yeah.
I don't watch daytime TV.
Right.
I have satellite radio,
Uh-huh.
so I don't listen. I don't hear anything commercials that's going on.
Right.
Like somebody told me Gasparilla was this weekend. I was like, oh, really? I just didn't know because I don't tune into
Right.
the news. I don't. you
Right.
know. I went to
Same here.
a fun trade show with the kids this weekend. Somebody had a thing setting up newspaper. They were still trying to peddle the newspaper.
Yeah.
Like they were going to give you a free umbrella if you I had this joke, this theory. What if you put a 50 cents in the St. Pete Times thing and open it up? Some bell goes off at downtown St. Pete. They go, "We sold one!" They can't believe this just happened. And
Yeah.
nobody, unless you go to McDonald's and there's 50, 75-year-old guys in there, they read the paper, but we don't, right?
Right. Well, the Sunday, we get the Sunday paper at our house, and because I have a coupon shopper in there, and and I like to read the comics, and I'll occasionally look at the sports, But after that, I mean, I don't want to read somebody's opinion about the extension of the Leroy Selman Expressway. I don't give a shit about that stuff. And apparently a lot of other people don't either.
Yeah, it's going to happen no matter what you think about it. It's like,
Yeah, well, you're exactly right. And that totally ties into what else I was saying, too. All this world is really, really getting ready to change in the next few years. I'm very, very confident in that. So if there's something that you love to paint, or if you love to sculpt, or if there's some piece of art that lets you express yourself, leave that. Let that energy leave you, and let it go into the art that you want to see. If it's making a room full of people laugh, it's playing a guitar in a bar, whatever it is that you want to do, go do that and get that fulfillment out of your system. Because if you don't, it builds up and you get this like, I have this thing I love to do and I don't do it, and you're going to start feeling deprived. And then if you start concentrating on what you see, like during daytime TV, you start taking in the pundits' opinions, you're going to turn sour inside. So what I'm saying is, find that thing that makes you happy. Let it flow, let it grow, let it be.
I have a story about that. It involves you. I think we're going to take a break in a minute, but I want to tell it
When we come back?
on the other side. Is that what they
Okay.
say? I have no idea.
That's a good one. The other side's good.
sounds like we're dying.
Yeah, we're all trying to get to the other
Yeah,
side.
right.
That's why we're on this show. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Loutopia podcast. Special guest Rick Stepinsky. Here, Michael Merberg, Chris Gorgeous. Second half coming up. It's the truly lovely and talented Beth Snyder from Beth Snyder Hypnosis. She'll be joining us via the phone. We're going to take a little break, about 4 or 5 minutes. So if you want to go refresh, that's what we're going to do. Go refresh and turn them reel-to-reels over. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Loutopia podcast. We'll be back in just a little bit.
things almost make sense, and most everything is interesting and mildly unique. It's a place that feels somewhat familiar and has the suspicious comfort of a loving semi-omnipresence. You are on the outskirts of Loutopia. Sit back and relax, or tense up and march around. Please welcome your host of Loutopia, Lou Angel Wolf.
Yeah, baby. That's the velvety, smooth tones of Don Capone. Need some voiceover work, DonCapone.com. He the man. He good like that. Aye. Welcome back to the second half of the Loutopia podcast. I'm Lou Angel Wolf in the studio with our special guest, Rick Stepinsky.
Yep, I'm here.
You doing good, buddy?
Yeah,
good to
fun.
see you again.
Yeah, it's good.
And, of course, my co-host, Michael Merberg.
Good to be back.
Yeah, it's nice. And, of course, over there moving dials, it's Chris Gorgeous.
Yep.
Hey, and I promised you the first half that we would be joined by our co-host down in Sarasota, Beth Snyder. Welcome to the show, Beth.
Well, good evening on this super moon kind of funky time in the universe. How's everybody tonight?
Is it supermoon again?
Yeah, there's a big honking moon out there right now.
Right now?
Blood blue moon.
Yeah.
Every 150 years.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's right.
Blood blue.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
bound to have some.
Not a good moon to charge your crystals. It's kind of wreaking havoc on everyone's energy. So
Kind of, yeah. You know, I agree. I mean, I've been a little bit of a funk the last couple of days. My energy's been okay, but not as high as it has been.
Your tide's been out, huh?
My tide's been out. I'm eating my Tide Pods.
oh god,
When I was a kid, we had to eat our Tide out of the box.
so funny.
We didn't have any damn Tide Pods.
Be honest, you were eating ivory flakes. That's what you were eating.
Ivory flakes.
In hopes of banging Marilyn Chambers.
Wow, is that an obscure pull? Marilyn Chambers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Loutopia podcast. We're being simulcast on the YouTube. That's at YouTube, LouAngelWolf.com or Lou Angel Wolf at YouTube. And then the IRN Broadcast Network, IRNBroadcast.com. Our buddy Mike Peter also simulcasts the show, and we thank you so much for that and the exposure. Yeah, wish I could pay my bills with that exposure. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Beth, we got Rick here, and Rick's an old friend, and he has that kind of burning desire to keep doing stand-up, even though life tries to constantly get in the way. And he also, over the last few years, been experiencing the single fatherhood thing.
This is true.
Yeah, so...
Rick, you are a sitcom waiting to happen.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I've got I'll be 49 years old this year, and I have a 7-year-old son.
wow.
I remember when I was 41, how many friends do I have? No one said, don't do this. As much as I love this boy, you talk about energy and crystals and whatnot. I mean, they're full of energy, and I don't have as much as I used to, but he's 7, and it's all energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time.
Wakes up, full 220 volts
ready to
flowing.
go.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Every day.
Throwing breakers. Bam!
What was the story, Rick, that you were going to tell before the breaking?
Oh, yeah, just real quick. Talk about life getting in the way.
Yeah.
My first marriage ended.
Okay.
It was not good. I was miserable. I was fat. Miserable.
I remember.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And
I never mentioned it, though.
every 20 years you come back in my life and just throw me down a flight of stairs. Yeah.
Freaking tighten you up. Tighten up, Stepinsky.
He shows up. Gut punch.
So I took like 5 years off. I didn't do any comedy for like 5 years.
Oh.
And then we reconnected
Wow.
on Facebook.
Ah.
We met for lunch one day. It was great to reconnect. And then you called and said, I have a show in Cape Coral.
Right.
Come do it with me.
Nice.
And I haven't been on stage in probably 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I'd given up.
Okay.
I pulled out all my old notebooks and everything, and I was just disgusted with it all. But And I was so nervous when we got down there. There was a raging crowd of there was 18 people there, if you remember.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're a big draw. In Cape Coral.
Tens of people.
Yeah. But we did get a free meal and drinks, what Chris was talking about earlier, but that was nice. But I found when I got up there, you talk about riding a bike and not forgetting.
Yes.
Shit was coming into my head that I hadn't even thought about
Sure.
talking about.
Sure.
And it was just there.
Beautiful.
And the same thing happened. I hadn't done a show for a couple of years, and I did something with Steve Baird, rest in peace, and Bull. And I told Bull, be ready. I don't know if I can carry this, And I got up there, and he had to light me to get off, because it just came. And I just once you're up there,
you're
man.
one of those comedians.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can handle it. And
Yeah.
2 hours later, if somebody else
Oh
needs it.
man, screw the light. I'm ready to go. So yeah, it was you,
Aw.
2010.
So
That got me back to
did I
doing
redeem
yeah.
myself for being a dick
Yeah,
earlier?
yeah.
It's one of those rare Lou Angel Wolf is a dick story.
But I do
there aren't
remember,
many
though,
of those going around.
I do remember also though that you asked me to drive too, so there might have been that too.
Well, there was that.
There might have been that too. So I had to drive on like a Tuesday night down to Cape Coral to do comedy in front of 18 people.
I think you
The
had
phone
a
call.
newer-
The phone call starts. Rick, you got a car, right?
Yeah, exactly. What are you driving, buddy?
Two birds, one stone.
I did have a new truck then. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I
It was a
did
beauty. Yeah.
Silverado. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
nice.
it
It was a good
beauty.
drive.
Yeah,
But
that
anyway, I
was-
appreciate that.
Hey, well, good. Well, thank
Yeah.
you. Well, great. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. And I divorced my Melinda, my first wife, when Isaac was. We separated in around 5. He was around 5, whatever. But I've seen him every.
Sure.
We had constant contact with him. She never played that game. We lived in the same town, so whatever. She jerked me around on a couple of weekends, but that's what ex-wives do. And I remember being a dad, like a part-time dad.
Sure.
And it's like I got this life, and then all of a sudden there's this crazy turn. Like, oh, I got to do this again now.
Right.
And it's like it's a very different. It's like throwing a switch in your head. Okay, I'm Lou, hangout, party, comic guy. Now I'm like, oh, I got to keep this kid out of the street. So-
Right. No, I agree.
Who better than you to do it?
I've seen him. He's a good boy. You did good.
He's a good boy. He's got a great heart. He's really funny. He's got a couple bad habits, but hey, you're gonna find your margins. You're gonna find your margins. And Beth, part of what I'm always gracious for all my friends and for our shared health. I just had one of those little things happen to me today. It kind of just resets your meter, regardless of this blood blue moon. I met a young man today. He was 14 years old. He just finished his 3rd round of chemo. And he was, like 5'10", 120 pounds, maybe. And, but just a beautiful guy. He just, he's like a sophomore in high school. And it was like just one of those things you just go, oh, well, was I riding around grumpy a little while ago?
Right.
Was I being pissy about something so minute? It's those little things that happen throughout your day that allow you to recheck and kind of like reset your check engine light.
Yeah, for sure. It really puts things into perspective. That's for sure.
Yeah, just disconnect your battery.
It's such a, it's such a lottery. Excuse me. It's just such a lottery. And we do really forget how blessed we are. So what an angel to come into your life today to allow you to kind of reassess and realign.
Yeah, it's amazing, and just the universe. I like it when it's subtle and quiet and gently taps on my shoulder instead of throw me down in the street or through a windshield when it really wants my attention. So, but it's those kind of things, and I already count myself, a millionaire. I've had a really, really wonderful life, and I got beautiful friends, and I sleep well at night, and I even get laid in my dreams. It's amazing, but
I'm doing something wrong. I crashed a plane in my dreams last night.
did you?
Literally.
Oh,
What does that mean, Beth? When you're somehow flying a plane and you have to veer up at a 90-degree angle to avoid like a building? I don't understand what that's a dream is about.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, you're feeling like you're headed for disaster. That sounds. We'd have to get out the dream book. Yeah, that's pretty obvious, Chris.
Okay.
You're not feeling rosy about the future.
I'm feeling a little sorry I asked, but all right.
Yeah. Okay.
ain't got to light a table full of candles for that one.
Holy shit.
How
Yeah, but
tall
Chris-
was the building?
Yeah, Lou has
Don't
the
give a
same
crystal
dream, but he's
ball
getting
there.
laid while he's flying the plane.
Oh, that's
That's
the
what you're
difference.
doing wrong.
That's right.
Oh,
I
there
gotta
you
be
go.
joining the Mile High Club.
Exactly.
Wow. That's a trippy dream, and I'm really blessed, and I don't. Many years ago, 1991, I had a born again Christian experience, and I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and
Amen.
my body was absolutely spirit filled. Just the Holy Spirit just fell on me and just shook me from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. And man, I was brand new, whitewashed inside out, bing bang boom. And then years go on. You get a little tarnished. You get a little you're still you're still making the same mistakes and this and that and the other thing. But now I am and I've been not I was never quite I was just questioning the plurality of our existence, and whether, because I was for a few years there, I mean, I was pretty much the Bible's the thing, and that's the that's the handbook that gets you into heaven and helps you avoid all this grief. And I'll tell you, I had a great existence then, and now I'm of course expanded a little past that, and whether that's a mistake or not, some people will go, oh, you got to get back to the Word, and other people will go, dude, the Word's just a book in many books. And as the more and more I research that, I find out the message is great, but the actual packaging has been greatly altered.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
Did being an ET UFO experiencer change your spirituality at all?
Well, it united it. It united it. It was that was the one thing, whether you, and I've argued about my salvation before, and there's nothing that can really explain that feeling that you have when you really feel connected with the Creator, that your prayers are being heard. There's like a physical manifestation of it through your physical experience, and you do feel one with the universe. Same thing with your ET experience.
Right.
You're going, yes, I feel that oneness again.
Right. Connection.
Yeah. Well, I would just say that I think, in my opinion, what's happening at that point is you're experiencing yourself for what you really are, because there is no separation from you and the Creator. You're just an expression of that.
Right.
So religion is a kind of looking up to something and saying, that it's separate from us. But it is not. It is us. It is within us. And that, when you really, kind of dive into the Bible a little differently and look at it from that perspective, right, it really changes the Scripture, and it really changes the experience of what that message was all about.
Sure, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And the more obtuse you let yourself be, because you're looking at scriptures that have been translated from Paleo Hebrew to modern Hebrew to English, or to Latin to English to modern English. So there's just words that don't parallel out of that society into ours.
Yeah, don't forget ancient Greek into modern Greek into the present translation that
Right.
we have. I mean, how many people you want to
Right.
get in on this act,
Everybody wants a slice of that one.
It's like we've all played like
Right.
Pass the Word,
Yeah. It's a big one.
And what the message was not that Jesus had superpowers or that this Son of God was different. This is who you are was the message, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these miracles that are being performed are the same miracles that you can do when you use your intention, when you use your energy, when you express and experience yourself as divine,
Sure.
which is what you are.
And even
Mm-hmm.
Jesus says that. He goes, you will do these things and many more. You will be able to perform these miracles because what is this all really is this is all one thing. Everything you need, and I think I was listening to Terrence McKenna the other night. Bashar. I was listening to Bashar. Everything you need in your life is already here. What you have to do is elevate your vibration so you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really no more difficult than that. Although raising your vibration piece by piece is difficult.
Right. I mean,
Well, a great book, if I can just recommend, is E Squared and E Cubed by Pam Grout, New York Times bestseller as well.
Okay.
But there's wonderful experiments that you can do in there that just help you to start to experience yourself as an energetic being. And you can start to if you follow along with these exercises, you start to be able to manifest and create really pretty quickly within the first chapter.
Wow.
So, and it just gets a whole lot better from there.
That's called what?
It's
What's the title of the book?
E Squared.
E Squared.
E Squared.
Okay.
And then her follow-up was E Cubed.
And
so E2, like Einstein's theory.
And what's the author's
E
name again?
Pam, and the last name Grout. And there's really fun experiments you can do in there. You could do them with Jake, Chris. So, it's just these really fun things that you can do that kind of really breaks it down so that you don't have to go, levitate on a mountain, and give up gluten to be able to experience yourself. But it's just really fun and practical, exciting ways to start to kind of tap into the power that you have within you.
Wow, that sounds great. I'll definitely look into that. And
yeah, you'll dig them.
Yeah, I'm sure. And that's kind of what we're talking about. We got the single fatherhood thing happening today. Any anecdotes you want to share?
I had a follow-up question. I know you're deep into the way things happen and all that. You mentioned you met this young man today or recently.
Today.
I'm a firm believer that you can alter your simple path if you do something the same way every day.
Mm-hmm.
I do this in my travels. I'm in sales. You know this.
Right.
I always go this way. I'll make a point of going this other way, and good things will happen because I got off that same path. And that brings me right back to you calling me in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Get back out there and do the comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I was going down this same path every day for 5 years. I was miserable. Marriage wasn't good. I was out of shape. I wasn't making money.
Right.
I needed someone to turn the wheel for me, and you did that.
Oh, wow.
And got me back to doing, like you said, if you don't do it, you bottle it up, and that creative urge is not there.
Yes.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why during that time I was heavily into Facebook, writing just jokes.
Right.
To feel it.
Yeah,
just to get the comments and the likes
there was some funny stuff.
I had nothing going on.
I thought you were kind of a dick on Facebook. No, I'm kidding.
Lou was or I was?
You were.
I was.
I'm kidding.
But you know what I mean?
And bottled up anger and frustration.
So I always
coming out in
feel that sometimes doing that one different thing with your day, opposite of what you always do, could change your entire life.
Sure.
Let alone your day.
Totally.
Because if you choose
It's
a different road and then
pattern interrupts,
there's
right?
a huge
Interrupt the
accident,
pattern.
a huge accident on US 19 where you were going to be and you chose to go down Belcher. I mean, those things are not
That's what happened tonight.
exactly. Those are not coincidental to me. Those are huge,
Yeah.
and I do that every day of my life now. And I was in a rut, a terrible rut.
Well, you got to step outside the rut to find your path, and that's how you change your synchronicities.
Exactly.
That's when everything starts pulling up to you. Now, even for people that have been screwing up their whole life, there's an example that I kind of know about. And Alexander Solzhenitsyn, probably one of the greatest writers, if not the greatest writer of the 20th century, responsible for the downfall of the USSR simply by his writing alone.
Wow.
And Solzhenitsyn was sitting in the Gulag. And this is a fellow that, survived the Russian Revolution, was sent to the Russian front, fought the Germans, made his way into Germany, was a hero, and then was sent to the Gulag because he had made his way into Germany in the front avant-garde of the troops, and that's what Stalin did. He sent the best and the brightest and the most brave into the Gulag so they wouldn't be a threat to him. Mm-hmm. So Solzhenitsyn's sitting in the Gulag going, what the fuck happened? Where did I go wrong in my life? What he ended up doing was examining. He had plenty of time on his hands, apparently.
Sure.
So
what a blessing.
He goes and examines his entire life, okay? And try to find out where that he chose the wrong way. There are times in our lives where we'll make the wrong choices. That's just part of life. But he ends up coming up with a conclusion that led him to write the book, The Gulag Archipelago, which is probably one of the most important books of the 20th century. Okay. That book, in and of itself, this guy gets out of the Gulag, writes the book, and it fucking changes the world.
Wow.
Okay, why? Because he thought about it, and he figured out, this is something I really got to do, and he did it, and that's how we change the world, each in our own ways in our own lives.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And he needed the suffering. He needed that suffering in order to do that. So, there's some gift in the garbage always.
Yeah, I agree.
I like that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's powerful. And you know what? This is a little something I noticed just in life. Some of the most interesting, successful people I know had the hardest. They had to come out of absolute, nowhere or be, back of zero, and then they, just retaliated. They found this incredible strength.
It's like Jack Ma.
Jack Ma.
Yeah, the guy who started Alibaba in China. He's like one of the richest men in the world now. He got rejected from Harvard like 5 times and had to go off on his own, educate himself, and he ends up, takes his own path, and he finds his way to be the richest man, one of the richest men in the world. So, yeah, same thing.
Yeah, because they don't see failure as something that stops them. They see it as an opportunity.
Right.
Wow.
And it's a learning opportunity.
I think you can add to what I was saying. Someone else can change your path.
Yes.
What happened to me, which I'm not going to discuss here, but my life was changed not by my choice a couple of years ago,
right.
And my life has been so much better because I've forced to take a different path that I was not going to take on my own.
Right.
Now I'm fit, healthy, happy. Business is good. I met a new girl. Things are great with that. I mean,
it's beautiful.
It's exactly what I needed to be happy and to do comedy again. So. Apparently, you're like a grandma in the grocery store whose phone rings. You don't even know how to turn it on or off. Is this your own phone? You're going, I don't know what button to press.
What do I do with this?
What do I do? Johnny, help you take this.
I'm glad we're getting this all on the YouTube.
Do I do the swipe? Do I do the swipe? Am I swiping
they
now?
Look at it like they're trying to make the space shuttle go off. It's just a button.
It's actually my son, Isaac. I had to see who it was. And that's who I wanted to hand it to. Here, take care of this.
He had the hot potato hands going on, didn't he?
But I'm grateful for that path I was forced to take.
Yes, that's absolutely that's beautiful, and see, that's the best case scenario.
Absolutely.
And what you also did is you started to own who you were through all those situations.
Absolutely, I did.
And when you
you followed your bliss, you followed your
True.
joy, you stopped resisting, right, where you were being called, and
Exactly.
when you stopped, the suffering is in the resisting.
I've said to Michelle, the girl that I'm seeing now, so you're very lucky that you've met this version of me, because the 2, 3, 4 years ago version of me was not good.
Right.
And I know that. And what you say about owning it, I know that.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
happy. I'm so much happy with this version.
Oh yeah, we continue to evolve.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are nearly at the end of another Loutopia podcast. It makes me sad that this is going to end.
It was fun, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was beautiful, man. We made some nice points. Beth, how goes the shop? Everything good down there?
Everything's good. Yeah, we're cranking along, and my little empire here.
Yes, you do have the happiest
Yeah,
little
it's
empire
busy.
down there. Yeah, that's the
That's
Ohm
fun.
Shop, ladies and gentlemen, down there in South Sarasota. Beautiful place. Metaphysical shop. It's a spa. There's just what's the new thing happening there now? I know you always have a constant evolving programs and stuff. So what's groovy these days?
Yeah, we're getting ready to launch some wellness packages, which are going to be really wonderful. So they'll be targeted for, people who are really ready to, to plug in, take charge of their health and wellness, and instead of just a one-off here and there. But so the whole team kind of working, on whatever it is you're looking to work on, whether it be migraines or backaches or weight loss or whatever. You're ready to change, we're ready to kind of come together as a team and help you do that. So I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be great.
Well, Beth, if you're leading the charge, people are going to be helped. They're going to be loved, and they're going to be better at the end. And anybody's listening and they need to start pulling it together, that'd be a great way to start down there at the Ohm Shop. That's TheOmshoppe.com. Shop online, but better yet, show up in person down there in Sarasota. It's a beautiful drive, and then when you get there, you're at the Ohm Shop. So
that's right. We love on you.
they do have that. Michael, how's everything going over there with you?
Oh, it's busy this time around. I'm actually editing a book for the free, which is the Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Experiences.
Yes.
So
I've been getting the links. Cool.
Yeah, I've been doing the book. It's due out in May, and then still representing disabled, just kind of up to my elbows in hearings. But other than that, it's like they say, if you're busy, if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Beth. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's good. And during the day, my day job's been such a blessing over there at Armor Tech, and just good people, lots of work, and I'm a little dizzy. I'm a little burnout. I've been really running hard these last several months. But, like Warren Zevon says, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the end of the show.
Dead guy. Quote a dead guy.
And
He's sleeping.
my other favorite Warren Zevon is enjoy every sandwich. I mean that so much. Enjoy every sandwich. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Loutopia Podcast. I'm Lou Angel Wolf. Saying goodnight. Thank you, Rick Stepinsky.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Beautiful, beautiful. Chris, see you next week. Actually, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. We're everybody's taking a hiatus next week.
Okay.
So we'll be back 2 Tuesdays from now, live, and catch up on your archived Lou Angel Wolfs or Loutopias. And please, if you have not yet, read The Pacifist Riot. It's the key to all this stuff.